my general feeling is that computers are doing more harm than good. I see the IRS is using computers extensively now to catch people on their taxes. If you're in the government, I suppose that's good. But you know, when they issued us our social security cards,
Stephen Jobs helped build the first Apple computer in his garage. He is now 26 years old and is chairman of the board. And he sees his computer's future as the future of mankind. The future of mankind.
Hello, hello. How are we all doing? I've been working from home today, hence my beautiful wallpaper, rather than being in the cave. And this is just a regular COVID diary that we do daily on this channel. I just thought I'd do it live for a change so that I could check in with you and check you're all doing well. Here in the UK, we've just had, well, actually it's still ongoing right now, the daily announcement we get from the government. And it's just been announced that lockdown is in place for at least another 3 weeks. And that's official now. And that's off the back of, has it been 3 or 4 weeks? No, it's been 3 weeks now, hasn't it? Because originally they said 3 weeks. So that's where we are. I'll put a bit of music on for you, shall I, while we're chatting? Oh, that was a bit loud. There we go. So yeah, and I think we've got a few, yeah, day 22 in the Big Brother house. I won't do the accent. I think we've got a few new people as well on the channel because I mentioned this channel on the main video that went out publicly today. So if you're new here, hello. This is nothing like my main channel. It's completely unplanned, unscripted, and it gets messy at times. But there's some familiar names there as well. Richard, hello Richard. Hello Paul, hello Alistair. Alistair will be featuring in today's video. And Howard, hello Dubious Engineering. So basically I've got the usual show and tell videos there. I think they're all show and tells today rather than tours of people's caves. So we'll get cracking with the first one, shall we? Let me bring it up on the screen. This is Alistair who's in the chat. And well, I won't spoil it. I'll just play it and I'll stop the music. Let me know if the levels are too low or anything like that. I can always restart the video if you can't hear it properly, so let's give it a go.
Hiya Cave Dwellers, I'm Alistair and this is my Retro Man bag tour. Most people use their camera bags for carrying cameras and associated lenses, but when it's a Retro Man bag, the contents are slightly different.
What have we got in there then? I can see a Game Boy and I can see a Game Boy camera. Hello Andrew, good to see you, and hello Beta Tyrone. Let's see what's in the Retro Man bag. Is the video coming through okay for you, by the way? Okay, no problem Gregster. I've paused it now, but is it streaming okay and are you getting the audio okay? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, Richard says yes. Okay, we will proceed with today's presentation then.
And this is my mobile retro collection for going to and from the makerspace to work on my mobile retro projects. So if we just take a quick look at what was in the bag, we've got the original brick Game Boy, one nice clean one and one that's in
You can't say that, Alistair.
This is my favourite, the Game Boy Light.
That does look nice. I've got the brick one. Oh, I've got one which I'll show you in a second. I'll go and grab it because I didn't see it on your table when I had a quick look earlier. But the Game Boy Light looks nice.
Japan only model that had a built-in backlight on a regular Game Boy Pocket sized device. Game Boy Color, 2 Game Boy Advances. The black one came to me non-working and took a bit of TLC to get the main power switch cleaned up and a fuse replaced on the motherboard, and then that came up good. A tribal GBA flip type, again, seen better days.
So that's official, is it? The tribal tattoos. Richard said he's not seen a Game Boy Light before. No, I don't think I have. And apparently it costs a fortune, says Paul. So are those? Is that an official tribal version? They're not transfers that go on afterwards, are they?
And is it due for some refurb and possibly even having a backlight mod fitted to it? Some Nintendo DS's. I went through buying broken NDS's in order to make them into Game Boy Macros, which is where you take the top half off of the DS and just use the bottom half as if it's a Game Boy Advance. And I've got 3 of these, and this one's a DSi.
So that's the hacker term for it. Is it the Game Boy Macro? I think you said. So if you chop the top half of a DS and use it as an Advance. See, I'm learning today.
The later one. And over here, some of the more interesting things. This looks like a Game Boy Pocket, but it's actually a Raspberry Pi inside of a aftermarket. No Game Boys were harmed in the making of this. Aftermarket Game Boy Pocket shell with a custom PCB which mounts the Raspberry Pi Zero. And there's the regular RetroPie menu, which has got some games on it.
That's neat. I like the way I paused it in a really bad spot there. I'm trying. That'll do. I like the way that it's got the 4 buttons, but 2 of them are body coloured, so it still retains kind of the look of a layout of a Game Boy. And you've got RetroPie in there. That's awesome. So I'm guessing you can happily play your Game Gear, your Lynx, all of your Game Boys on there. Oh, I want one of those.
And then this little fella here, he's a Tiny Pi Pro. Again, similar sort of thing. He's powered off. Hey, he was on a second ago.
Is that usable, Alistair? Because that looks a bit too small for my hands. I'm guessing. I guess you rotate it. Yeah, I'm guessing you rotate it. No, because you've got to have your right hand on the buttons and your left hand on the D-pad. So that is the correct orientation of it. I don't know. It looks a bit too small for my liking.
He's a Raspberry Pi Zero inside of a case that's only just barely bigger than the Raspberry Pi Zero. And this guy here, he's a 32-bit from Pi Moroni, and he's a STM32 based device which is currently undergoing a beta round, and libraries are being developed so that anybody can write simple games a bit like Pico 8.
That's cool.
And this here is what started off my fascination with hoarding Game Boys like this, which is a cartridge dumper that I've built, and this is a prototype of it, and it uses a Raspberry Pi as a back end and a simple set of port expanders to interface with the cartridge, and it uses the SPI bus to dump the cartridge onto the Raspberry Pi for use in emulators. And just as a final thing to see us out, here's a bit of the Game Boy Light playing a bit of, well, what can only be the only thing you're going to play on a Game Boy ever.
That's not true, surely. I mean, I know Tetris is a good game, but I don't play a lot of it, and I never played a lot of it. I was more interested in Super Mario Land. So that's nice, that Game Boy Light.
I hope you enjoyed my cave, my man bag, my retro man bag.
I did enjoy your man bag. Let me just get something to show you because it's on topic, so just 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. I'll make the camera a bit bigger so you can see webcam. It's not the best camera. I'm sorry, it's just a regular webcam, but it's in a pretty shiny bag because Miss RMC Lily has kind of laid claim to it since she first set eyes on it, since I first brought it home to show her. And here we go. It's a Game Boy Micro in the traditional Famicom colours, and I absolutely love it. And what is she playing? Spyro. But yeah, I really like this. This is about as small as I can go. I do find this playable. Just it looks like the old Game & Watches or the Famicom, doesn't it? Lovely, and it's got a little sock that it goes in. And a whole bunch of wires going on in there. So I must get that out of this bag and into the cave at some point so I can give you a better look at it. Let's shrink my face. There we go. So that was our first video. We've got another one. We are going to Sheepy Tina next to continue the show and tells for today. So let's have a look at this video.
Good day, RMC.
Oh, that's a bit loud. Let me just turn that down a bit. And I just want to rewind that, because what's that called? Let's rewind. A mini car TV with a Rover badge at the bottom right. I like the look of that. I'm guessing that was designed to go in your car, was it? Anyway.
Good day, RMC and friends. Tina here from the cool YouTube channel Sheepy Tina. And I'm here today to show off something from my collection. What is this something, you may ask? Why?
What is the something?
It's this, the Neo Geo Pocket Color, SNK's gaming handheld from 1999. So about 8 years ago, I had a bit of a Neo Geo Pocket Color phase.
Does anyone else collect the Neo Geo Pocket Color? I don't have one. It's something I've always wanted because I do love the Neo Geo catalogue. There's an ooh from Alistair. I think he might be switching to Neo Geo.
This was, of course, back when the systems and games were still really cheap. Secret's kind of gotten out now, and a lot of rare games have gone up in price, which is a real shame. And speaking of which, games! So many of them. I've got a small collection here. Lots of adaptations of SNK's fighting games, and lots of unique titles. Arcade hits like Puzzle Bobble. My crown jewels are Match of the Millennium and Gal's Fighters here. But if I'm going to play anything today, it's got to be Sonic.
Dan says, I have no idea what they are. It's the Neo Geo shrunk. You know, the Neo Geo arcades shrunk down. It's not running the same games. They are ports created especially for the Pocket Color. It's not just running the ROMs. Assuming that's the question you were asking.
So here's a discovery I made while setting up for this video. The Neo Geo Pocket Color actually takes the same AC adapter as the Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy Color, I mean.
There you go, Alistair. You don't even need to buy another AC adapter.
I got an authentic AC adapter right here. Same polarity and everything. So, yes.
It's still weird to me seeing Sega games on other platforms.
So this is a Sonic game, of course. Really impressive for a handheld of their era. This is actually developed by Dimps, who went on to make the Sonic Advance games, right? So fans often consider this a sort of Sonic Advance Zero. It's based pretty heavily on Sonic 2, but with music taken from Sonic 3 and Sonic Jam in this case.
Now, Ian in the chat, Pixels at Dawn, says the back is known for not having the best backlight. You can kind of see it. I mean, you don't know what lighting conditions we've got in the video here, but you can kind of see it. And he says a mod is recommended, as with a lot of these old handhelds. I don't know if there's a McWill mod or equivalent for the...
and it's actually a pretty good game.
Neo Geo Pocket.
Definitely a game you have to have if you have a Neo Geo Pocket Color. The fighting games are, of course, where it's at. But, whoops. Playing through a viewfinder here.
Take care, Alistair. Thanks for dropping in.
I just realized this recording has gone on for a lot longer than I thought it did. Nice.
Nice.
And that's it for now. Thank you, RMC, for letting me talk on your channel today. And hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for watching.
You are most welcome, and thank you for sending that in, Tina. Hello, Woody, in the chat. Well, that has only increased my thirst for a Neo Geo Pocket Color. How about you guys? Screen does look a bit dark, but I know it's got a nice range of games. I'm not really that into fighters, so I'd have to have a look more into what games are available. Why do I want all these things? Don't I have enough things? And speaking of things that we all want, we're going to go and see Chrissy next, who did give us a cave tour last week, or maybe the week before. He was one of our first cave tours. No, he didn't give us a cave tour. He gave us a tour, a show and tell of the Sega pop-up book. That's right. And during that time, in the background of showing us the Sega pop-up book, there was the PC Engine Mini in the background. And I said, can we see that? So he sent another video in to share that with us. So let's have a look.
Hi.
Hi, but I'm still seeing the Neo Geo Pocket, Chrissy.
Chris here again.
I'm still seeing the Neo Geo Pocket, Chrissy. Where are you?
I'm going to show you a quick teardown.
Right. That's not right, is it? Let me just try and reload Chrissy, because I'm hearing him, but I'm not seeing him. Chrissy.
Hi, Chris here again, and I'm going to show you a quick teardown.
Okay, have some music while I just try and fix this for you, because I know you all want to see this. I'll just hide that for a second. The Neo Geo Pocket is talking to you. Let's have a little look. There's always a technical hitch when I try and do something live. Always.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, okay.
That's Alistair again.
Hi.
Hi, there he is. He's here. Okay, we've got him. We've got him. I don't know why that was a problem. He did send it in as a MOV file, and I find that I have to use Handbrake to convert things to an MP4 before I can get things working properly. Anyway, let's say hi to Chrissy.
Hi.
Hi. So on the left we have the real PC Engine. On the right we've got the PC Engine Mini. Now I'm not seeing much difference in size. I think any of these minis that have come out recently, if they came out at the same size as the original PC Engine, they'd be considered a mini. It's such a small console in the first place, isn't it?
Chris here again,
Yes, it's Chrissy.
and I'm going to show you a quick teardown of the PC Engine Mini. Yeah, that's the mini one. Not much smaller than the other one, than the original.
I just said that, Chrissy.
Let's just take it apart.
So you can see the label on the bottom there says Konami or Konami, or however you pronounce it. I always say Konami. So it's not an NEC product. It's sort of licensed and issued by Konami.
Can I do it within?
Is Chrissy too quiet for you? Yeah, I'll turn the volume up for you. There you go. Okay, so he's just taken off there what would be the orange dust cap on the back of the original one, which would be the expansion port that plugs into the interface unit. Kind of a nice touch that it's got that, but all it's hiding there is the HDMI. Looks like it's just as easy to lose as the original one. Konami means my wife in my Norwegian dialect. Well, there you go, Nulani. Yeah, I've turned the video up a bit more. Hopefully that helps.
Drop off.
No, it looks a bit quiet, doesn't it? I'll turn it up a bit more again.
So the USB ports.
Oh, take that back. I want to see that. Where did we get to?
So the USB ports.
Okay, so we had the HDMI on the back, and then power, which is very much like the original power switch, and 2 USB ports. Nice.
Sorry, HDMI, USB, and 2 USB at the front. There we go. Not much to it. Like all your little minis.
And I can already see inside the PCB for it is about the same size as the original PCB, because that's also got the great big heatsink on the side, and it's got the Hue card reader above it. I don't think that's much smaller than the original. And there it is. Very little to it. Pretty much a system on a chip.
That's the main board. Okay, bye.
Oh, bye. Now, Chrissy has also been kind enough to capture some footage of it running, so we can get an idea of what games are in the menu and whatnot. So let me load that one up. This one might be a bit loud. Let me sorry if that blasted your ears off. Let me just take the volume down. There we go. Oh, this looks like Ghosts and Goblins to me. Looks nice. Looks like it's got some. Has it got some scan lines? No, I don't think he's got scan lines enabled. It's just on the. Just an effect on the background there, but I imagine it's got plenty of display options. Hello, Error 42. We're just enjoying a show and tell from Chrissy. Win some hacks. Let's see what else we've got in the menu here. Oh, Splatterhouse, that's a good one. Superstar Soldier. I don't know a lot about the PC Engine Mini yet, other than what Chrissy's showing us now. I'm assuming that it also runs a few of the CD games. Maybe some of the Super CD games, the rarer ones, I don't know. Good man, Grant, good man. Incidentally, if you're after a custom mug, I started selling some this week, which I make here in press, or in the cave, and they are my logo, but you have your name on it, so Retro Grant Cave or Retro Alistair Cave or whatever you want. Just look for Retro Man Cave on Etsy. These are great looking games. Where are you taking us next, Chrissy? Yes, Error 42, I agree. I'm seeing more people out. We'll have a little chat about that in a minute. We'll just finish seeing what Chrissy's got to show us. Well, of course, Bomberman's on there. I did hear some complaints on the internet about the choice of games. Some people are not so happy about the choice. I don't know if it's been hacked yet, so you can just run whatever you want. Don't know. Lots and lots of shooters on the PC Engine. Hello ZX Renew. We're just enjoying a show and tell of Chrissy's PC Engine Mini. And his playing skills. He's doing alright so far on this one. Got another minute or so of what he wants to show us. I got a lot of comments on the recent PC Engine videos I've done because, you know, I referred to it as an 8-bit console, which in my mind it is because it's an 8-bit CPU, but a lot of people have said, well, the graphics chips are, you know, they run in parallel and they're 16-bit and it's on a 16-bit bus. You know, everything but the CPU is not 8-bit. But in my mind it still comes down to the CPU. I still call it an 8-bit console. You know, when the Voodoo graphics cards came out, they boasted that they had 128-bit graphics processing chips on them. It didn't make your PC 128-bit when you upgraded that graphics card, did it? Ah, there we go. There's a CD-ROM game with realistic CD-ROM sounds. Nice. I think this is pretty much just adding CD music to it. But it's nice that it's running CD games like that. And it looks like that's the end of it. 5 seconds left. Yeah, let me just... Oh, shutting down. And that's the end of that. I'm going to leave that playing on mute. There we go. While we chat, we'll put the music back on. So, yes, Alistair, Chrissy, Tina, thank you so much for sending in your show and tells. If any of you guys want to send anything in to show us, then retromancave@gmail.com. Send it in. We're looking for cave tours and also any show and tells, anything, because we've got another 3 weeks of this to fill now. Originally, I thought this would be a daily thing for 3 weeks, but at least another 3 weeks to go, so we've got plenty to fill and chat about. Anyway, just talk to me quickly in the chat about your situations. How are you doing? Where in the world are you? And what's the situation? Because as I said, we've just been locked down for another 3 weeks. I know Grant's in the US. I don't know what the situation is there, if it's US wide or if it's, you know, state by state. I don't know what decisions they've made. Peter, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. Thank you. And if you've enjoyed the live one, I'm happy to do it live in future because it means I can chat a bit more directly to you. Saint UK is in Scotland. He says it's the end of week 5 from home for him. Richard's in the UK. Andrew, I know you're not in Timbuktu. Chris W says state by state. That's interesting. And presumably from the story that I saw today, Chris, about, was it Trump's wife had crossed one of the state lines and got in trouble for it for going to their other house. So presumably it's state by state, and crossing the state lines is a big no-no. Faroe Islands is in lockdown, says Johan. Delaware has been locked down until May the 15th. Hello, Mark in Bournemouth. You've just caught the end of this live stream, but we're just talking about lockdowns around the world. Judge Drock, hello. Yes, it was announced at 5 PM, so they'd only just finished announcing it when I came on. So yeah, it is now official. At least another 3 weeks, that's him. Basingstoke, land of roundabouts, end of week 4. North Carolina, stay at home at least until the end of the month. Haven't said anything beyond that. South Africa, we've finished 3 of 5 weeks lockdown. No cigarettes or alcohol. Food riots flaring up here and there. Well, how can you lock people down and also say you're not allowed any alcohol? I think that's the only thing getting some people through it. Grant says it's state by state and even city by city. As far as I know, here in Texas, it's still social distancing. Masks are mandatory. Andrew is also in Scotland. We've got North Essex. It's nice to see where you're all from. Shaney says, cheers from Germany. Lockdown continues here. About the same shops are allowed to open on Monday. Ireland. They are looking at the situation again on May the 5th, says Finton. Good Irish name. Daniel's over in Bristol. Oh, you're not far from me, Daniel. I went to Bristol not so long ago to watch The Book of Mormon in the theatre. Outrageous show. Many businesses here, says Matt, are saying masks are required for entry, but not many are doing anything. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing saying you've got to do these things, it's another enforcing it, isn't it? And again, county by county, that seems to be very different. So Gary, friend of the channel Gary, went for a drive for the first time in 3 weeks to go and do some essential shopping just a couple of days ago and immediately got pulled over. I, on the other hand, have been commuting to the cave where I can work in isolation and I have to work, except for days like today when I can stay home and do research. But when I have to film, I have to go into the cave, and I do so in complete isolation, door to door. But in the last 3 weeks, I haven't been pulled over once. I've rarely seen a police car. So very different, and I'm in Wiltshire, near Swindon. Error 42's in Loughborough. So UK people, have you seen much in the way of police presence? Have you been pulled over? Willie says our Policeminster is an a-hole. People are home brewing, but police say they'll stop that too. But marijuana is legal for home use. Very different world to over here. People will be brewing gin in their bathtubs. David, I don't mind being stuck at home, but the wife is driving me crazy. And Richard's in Exeter, again, not too far from me. A lot of people are starting to ignore the rules, he says. I think that's going to increasingly become a problem. As I say, because I have to commute, I do see the outside world perhaps a little bit more than others. And yesterday was the first day where I looked around me and thought, there's suddenly a lot more people than normal out and about. A lot more cars, a lot more people walking about. People queued outside the local shop because even the corner shops in my village, they've got someone on the door only allowing a certain number of people in the shops at any one time. Yeah, I don't know if that was a one-off, if everyone was just catching up after the bank holiday. Don't know. Peter says a few more police cars than normal, but I suppose they need something to do. They've got to play with their drones and their other toys that they don't normally get to play with. Judge Drock spotted a helicopter. We had a helicopter here the other day because one of the locals, who's always seen propping up the bar at the pub, sadly passed away. It wasn't from the virus, but he passed away. And because he was a popular character in the village, they had his funeral and 50 people turned up. So the police came and flew around and all the rest of it. And considering the size of the village, you know, between those 50 people, they could easily infect the entire village. And Cosm says, the sheriff is patrolling my area, but he just waved as he drove by. He probably wants to keep his windows up and not get infected himself. Grant says restaurants now have added delivery and pickup services. since they can't do dine-in service right now. Yeah, my local takeaway has got huge signs up. My local restaurant has got huge signs up saying we now deliver. Even the local pub is delivering roast dinners on a Sunday. So a lot of businesses are trying to adapt. Good. Beaten Tyrone has seen a lot of people on motorbikes riding about without helmets for some weird reason. Like the NHS doesn't have enough to do. I know. I saw someone the other day. The roads have been so quiet, and I was driving home, and this guy had put his van straight into the side of a wall. And you just know there was no other traffic that caused that. He was probably just hooning it. There was no reason to crash on that piece of road, and it's just causing, you know, unnecessary problems on the NHS, isn't it? Although, to be fair, he was walking around. He did look fine, so maybe he didn't have to go to the trouble of the hospital, but the police were there. St UK says the boy racers have been out in force. Wow, it's perfect, isn't it? Empty roads, good weather. You'd be tempted. Good, well, it's nice to hear all of your opinions on what's going on. I've really enjoyed doing this live, so I'll try and do it at least once a week. So long as the videos keep coming in, so I've got something to show you, otherwise it will just be me pointing out my wallpaper. Or maybe the view out the window. I don't know if the camera will reach that. There you go, there's a field full of sheep out of my study window. It's not a bad view, as views go. There you go, out onto the common. Good British countryside, and the neighbours washing. Good, okay, I'll let you get back to it, and hopefully I've done this in such a way that if you didn't watch it live, you've enjoyed it anyway. And I'll see you all soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Oh, what's the name of the track playing now? I'll put it in the chat shortly. I'll end the stream, but I'll keep the chat open. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.